Kathrin from manifestationbabe.com, and today I'm going to be talking about developing your intuition. So today's going to be a really fun chat. Has anyone seen the amazing moon last night and charged your crystals? Because I sure did. First of all, that moon was huge. It was beautiful. I put all my crystals on my windowsill. And then thankfully, like right on time, my intention candles that I have from House of Intuition, let me show it to you guys. These candles that I bought, this money candle and my purify candle that I bought, finally went out last night. And I completely forgot. So I've been setting an affirmation for each of these candles. Hi, Angelica. Where do you live, Angelica, by the way? Because I have a feeling I saw that you lived in LA, or one of your posts is in LA, and I'm like, I'm in LA, and why haven't we like met yet? So let me know where you live. But I didn't notice that there's crystals inside the candle. You do? Where in LA do you live? And look at these crystals. This was in my purify candle. This was in my money candle, my rose quartz. Money is love, I guess. I have no idea what this is, but it was in my money candle. This was in my money candle. This is a tiger's eye. And this was in my purify candle. I also have no idea what this is. So those of you crystal experts, let me know what it is, but it's now charged with my intention, and that gets me really excited. So today I wanted to talk about, yes, my top. I love this top, except it's so like not work appropriate, but I don't care. But anyway, so today I want to talk about developing your intuition, how to go from complete silence, somewhere where I used to be, to full conversational. So receiving regular signs, knowing what your symbols are. I'm not like psychic or anything. I'm not like fully clairvoyant or everything that I want to be. I regularly consult with psychics all the time. I fucking love you guys. But it's amazing that I truly believe, and I'm just going to share my experience, my opinions, but I truly believe that we all have it within us as long as we open ourselves to it. So if you really want to develop your like psychic senses and your intuition, like you really can develop, and it's something that's like a workout program. It's not like you expect to go from 0 to 6-pack abs in like 2 weeks. Like this shit takes time to develop, and it's been like developing for me over the last couple of years. So I'm excited to share kind of like my tips and tricks and my little experiment that I did with my first like really trusting my signs and predicting something happen. So I'm really excited to share that. Good morning, ladies. We're close on the west side near, are you serious, Angelica? We have to meet up. My boyfriend works in Santa Monica right now. So he's commuting all the time from North Hollywood, and I live in North Hollywood, so that's awesome. Okay, so here's the deal. You all have come here because you want to heighten your intuition, right? You guys were really excited about this chat. So here's the deal. We as human beings are amazing creatures, and we all have really good intuition for the most part. But the thing is that we also have free will. So when we came here on this planet, and this is my strong belief, and I guess a lot of people share this belief too, is I believe that we chose our lifetimes, we chose, everything about our lives before we came here, and then once we were born, we just forgot everything. So that's like the point, like you're supposed to forget and then learn the lessons you're supposed to learn. And we have free will, right? So if you come here in this lifetime and you don't want to learn the lessons, you don't have to. You're just going to learn them in another lifetime. If you don't want to do certain things, you don't have to. Why people say like why people like go their entire lives without like knowing about manifesting or ever meeting their spirit guides or all this stuff is because they don't have to if they don't want to. And we all have spirit guides, we all have angels, we all have all these entities that are constantly guiding us, like constantly. Like if you knew how many things were around you at one time guiding you and helping you on this journey, like you would just know that you're never alone, and you're truly never alone. But because you have free will, you can shut it off, right? We can go our entire lifetimes not ever receiving a single sign from the universe, never intentionally manifesting anything. Obviously, like, we manifest unintentionally all the time. And here's the deal, like, if you want a good example of this, think about the people who aren't spiritual at all. They go their entire lives, and I truly believe that when we're meant to die, we will die, right? If we're not meant to die, we won't die. And so people don't really see that spiritual side until, like, extreme divine intervention, right? They're about to die, or something really fucked up is about to happen, and at that last minute, it's like they start to really believe in, like, a guardian angel, or like something kept me from dying, or something was out there that protected me and stuff. It's because that person was not meant to die, and that was, you know, that, like, interfered with free will. I mean, like, that just, like, the person was not meant to die, and so the spiritual world comes in and protects that person from dying, if that makes sense. But you can go your whole life with this shit shut off, right? Like, you can go your whole life not caring, not knowing, and if you don't want to know, you don't need to know. So, but because we have free will, we need to open ourselves up to it. We need to ask, if you want to develop your intuition, if you want to receive signs on the regular, if you want to feel connected to whatever you want to feel connected, you have to invite it in. And it's not going to come in until you give it that invitation, right? So I was told, like, whenever you have a problem or something that you want to solve that you just cannot figure out for the life of you how to solve, that's why you have to ask the universe to help you. You have to ask your angels to help you. You have to ask your spirit guides to help you, because if you don't ask, they're not going to interfere with your free will. They're not allowed to. So they're not going to come in and help you unless you ask, right? So the first time I ever asked for my own sign, so as you guys know, most of you, some of you know my story of how I went from completely logic driven, science nerd, totally, like, shut off to this entire woo-woo world, to totally living it and teaching it and loving it and seeing how it's, and developing my intuition and actually having conversations with the universe. So the first time I ever asked for my, the first time I ever invited the spiritual world to come in was the first time I asked, like, if I'm on the right path, please flash me 1111. And so I asked for a sign, and then I got my first sign, right? And from then on, I kept inviting it in and inviting it in and inviting in. So ways that you can ask, right? Here are some. Like, mine was flash me 1111, and from that point on, it was like, boom. You can write a letter. I always write a letter to my spirit guide. I always write a letter to the universe. Write a letter and just know that you're ready to receive guidance. You're ready to open up. You're ready to start receiving your signs. You're ready to start having a conversation. You're ready to walk with your guides, right? So you can write a letter. You can do this in meditation. You can do this by intending that you're going to listen to whatever it is. And here's the other key, is that when you start heightening your intuition, you have to consciously slow yourself down, because the signs that you receive and the guidance that you get, you really have to pay attention. And it's going to take time and patience to start learning what your signs are, right? Everyone asks, like, what do these numbers mean? What does this mean? What does it mean if I see this? Well, we can all, I mean, like, we have this collective consciousness, right? The reason why we share a lot of the same signs behind symbols is because we share this collective consciousness. But deep down, and so most of the time it's the same thing, but deep down it's whatever your intuition is telling you these signs mean. And you're going to start developing your own signs. Like, I have slightly different meanings for each numbers that I see than what I see if I Google angel numbers, right? I Google angel numbers, I see all the descriptions, and I'm like, but wait, this happened when I did this, or this happened when I did that, so that must be connected to this event. And that's another thing. So before I get into that, I just want to say, like, slowing down, paying attention is key, and knowing that this shit takes time. Some people are born on this planet with heightened intuition, and therefore they have this gift of communicating with the other side, and they're able to bring people from the other, bring information from the other side and help people. They're able to see things before they happen. They're able to predict things before they happen. And we all have this within us. It's just that some of us were given it earlier in life. Some of us were asked to develop it. It just all depends on what your journey is. It just like some of us were meant to help people and meant to like create our life out of it, and some of us weren't and are supposed to just incorporate it into something else that we're doing. So, and here's another thing, your feelings are really tied to your intuition. So I get asked all the time, like, how do I trust my gut? Well, here's the thing. I made a decision one day that I'm not going to listen to anything logical anymore. If I have this idea to do something and it makes absolutely no sense and people look at me like I'm crazy, but I'm really excited about it and I feel really good about it, I'm gonna go for it. And every time I went for it, the right shit happened. Every time I can meet an amazing person, they're like amazing, they're kind, they do everything right, blah, 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 but for some reason I'm like, I would never do business with this person, or I just feel like there's something wrong with this person, or something tells me that I should not hang out with this person, or something. I got a lot of that actually, now that I think back, I got a lot of that with people. I'm like itchy all over, sorry guys, I'm like itching here, itching there. I got that towards some people in high school. Like, I would just have this feeling like, I don't think my life is going to go in the right direction if I hang out with this person, you know? Like, everyone has these subtle feelings, but feelings is a great way to figure out what your gut is telling you. So, do you feel icky about something? If the thought of going somewhere makes you anxious, or the thought of starting a certain business for some certain reason makes you feel anxious, or maybe you feel really good about investing in something, even if you don't have the money, it just feels so good and you just have to figure it out. And so therefore your intuition is telling you yes. And so anytime you have good feelings, that is a yes, typically, right? It's a typical yes, because good feelings is high vibration, typically means yes. Negative feelings is a low vibration, typically means no. And we're very in tune, because although we look solid and although we have all these solid things, like any science geek can agree with this, like these are all molecules and atoms, right? Like we're just like floating around, right? And in terms of like energy, we are all energy. And if you put us under those, what are those readers? Like the ones that see heat, you know, like cops use them to like see if like people in the dark or whatever, and they can just see heat spots and stuff. Like we are literally emitting like heat waves and energy waves and frequencies, and we are just a bunch of waves. We're not necessarily particles. And so that's why we can feel these vibrations. We can feel the good vibrations, we can feel the bad vibrations. It's because we are vibration, right? We match the frequency of something, and that's how you manifest. If you want to manifest something, you have to match its frequency, because once you match it, it's attracted to you. And then really discovering patterns. So as you ask for your spirit guides, angels, universe, God to start giving you signs. And then you're going to start receiving patterns. So that pattern can be, when this happens, infrared, thank you. When this happens, a butterfly comes by. When this happens, you see 111. When this happens, when you feel like this dread come over you, usually someone is sick around you, or like you just start, and this takes time. You really have to sit there and start figuring out the patterns in your life, right? It's like a puzzle piece. Like you have to figure out how this fits in with this. And you'll start finding that your signs are very consistent with certain events. Your signs are very consistent with certain feelings. Every time you see a white butterfly, like for instance, when I see 888, it's really funny, because this just like starts showing me that I'm getting more and more clairvoyant, or just like heightening my psychic abilities. Is I was doing a session with Lisa McCoy. And if you guys have not met Lisa McCoy, she is in this group. I know she's a busy mofo, so I have never seen her pop on live before. But I did a session with her because my mom did a session with her for aura and like chakra reading and just reading in general. And my mom like was like, you have to. I'm like, okay, fine. So I did a reading with her. And where was I going with this? Hold on. Oh, she was telling me more about, there we go. I'm like always all over the place. So I was having a session with her and she was telling me something and I heard cha-ching, like literally I looked at my phone because I know that that's my Shopify notification when someone purchases like a mug from me or a t-shirt from me or something in my shop. I hear cha-ching and I was talking to her and she was talking about money and all of a sudden I hear cha-ching like really loud in my head and I tell her and she's like, see, that's like, you're not crazy. Like that's a symbol for something. And literally 10 minutes after we get off the session, a Shopify purchase comes through. And then when I see 888, usually it's connected to a PayPal notification coming in that like someone bought my course or someone paid me for my coaching services or something, or I'm an affiliate for someone and they did their payout. And literally within 5 minutes of seeing 888, that's like my number of money, I'll have like a payment come through. So that's really, really cool. And Lisa, something else she taught me was she started telling me, and this is why like consulting with other psychics is so amazing, is because they can help you figure out what your symbols are for everything. For instance, my two symbols of yes and no are, I get chills like crazy as a confirmation. Most people do. It's like very common. I get chills when it's like a confirmation of something's very right, a confirmation of being on the right path, a confirmation of yes, I need to do this. And I also have this overwhelming sense of dread. So she's like, have you ever gotten this overwhelming sense of dread? Like all of a sudden just takes over you like a wave. She's like, that's nothing to do with you. It's usually something to do with someone around you. Like you should ask someone around you what's going on in their life, or you should ask someone around you if they're okay, or maybe you have it towards like your job or something you're doing in your business. And I started to play around with those feelings and I was like, wow, now that I know I have that confirmation, let me play around with this. And so I was getting my nails done and I was watching ice skaters on the TV, right? And I was like, let me just play around with this. So every time, and here's the deal, guys, even though I've kept my intuition, backtrack. When I was a kid, I used to have prophetic dreams. I used to dream things and they would happen. I used to look at a team playing sports on the TV and I'd be like, that team's gonna win. I used to look at like when I did ballroom dancing competitively, I used to be like, that couple's gonna win, this couple's not gonna score, she's gonna fall and blah, blah, blah. And I could just call it like crazy. And then I got really creeped out maybe, or maybe I just shut off this part of me that was more intuitive. And between my childhood and recently, it's just been like silence, right? It's just been like very logic driven, a very unfulfilling life, to be honest, like very, not so happy. Like I was actually a pretty negative person for most of that time period. And so I remembered that I used to be able to call teams and I used to predict things that would happen. So I was watching like ice skaters and I would look at one couple that is ice skating. I think it was like the World Championships or something. And I would just get chills towards a couple. And then they would have the most outstanding performance. And then towards this one couple, I just got this feeling of dread. Like I just felt like someone's gonna fall. Like I got this dread overcome me and I was like, someone's gonna fall. And so I was like, well, this is interesting because right now, let me experiment. Me being the experimental as fuck person, let me just watch this play out. And I was like, just watching. And they're doing really good and everything's fine. And then towards the last minute, he falls and they lose like literally almost all their points. And then they're crying. And I was just like, that's very interesting. So now I have figured out the patterns for those feelings. And it all comes down to what your patterns are. But I hope you babes have a beautiful Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. I absolutely love and appreciate every single one of you. And I hope to see more and more of you hop on here. I love to hang out with you and I love watching your live videos. So if you guys do lives in your groups and your pages, share them in this group. I love to learn more about what you guys do. I never see myself as the ultimate expert of life, of everything. Like there's a lot of things that I'm learning. My specialty is mindset. And so I love catching up on your guys' lives, like on crystals. I saw Angelica's Pink Moon Energy live yesterday. I watched Blanche, Blanche's video on kind of like confidence and stuff. So I love learning from each of you too. It fills me up. Okay. Bye, babes. Love you. Bye.